Hey everybody, Sam here and welcome back to Greenacre Homestead. In today's video, we are calling it done with the major construction of this DIY greenhouse. This video you're about to watch has a lot of clips mushed together, mashed together, and a lot of wardrobe changes. That's because this is going to be an accumulation of our working to finish this greenhouse over the past 3, almost 4 weeks. It's multiple days worth of work. A lot of clips put together, so I'm going to narrate over, and I think this will be the easiest, smoothest way to present this information to you guys. So without further ado, let's go. I decided to start with the front wall to finish up the plastic on the greenhouse. I wanted the same flexibility here as I had on the long left side wall, and that is to be able to roll it up or down and control the airflow as needed. I used the hammer stapler to tack it in place along the top, then down the front a little bit to the same height as the left wall. Using my speed square, I marked the plastic about 6 inches longer than the bottom of the wall and cut the excess off. I then took a scrap piece of wood, about a 1x2, and stapled it to the bottom of the plastic. This allows me to roll it up and down easily by hand to whatever level I want. For this time of year, I decided to pin it in place at the very top to keep the wall open all the time. Come winter time, I can roll it down and pin it closed as needed as well. I repeated the exact same process for the right side of the front wall too. The next big thing to do was build the front door of the greenhouse. Down in my workshop, I scrounged up some 1x3 boards and began cutting them to length on my table saw. I used my Craig pocket hole jig to drill and attach the boards together to form the face frame. After that, I found some old workshop shelving plywood and cut them to the right height to make the bottom part of the door solid. I really lucked out that this plywood lined up the perfect width for the door without me having to rip cut any of the pieces. I glued and stapled the plywood to the frame of the door. The real holding strength of this is going to be the wood glue. Once it cures, it will be much stronger than the staples ever will be. Flipping the door over, I cut some random small strips of wood and attached them to the front. These strips help close up the gaps between the plywood to make a more solid door, but also add a very nice look to the door. Once everything was dry and done, Elijah and I painted the door. We used the same acrylic siding stain that we used for the greenhouse, and it went on pretty smoothly. I'm also happy to report that Elijah and I both managed not to get any paint on our clothes. It's a pretty amazing feat for us. 2 coats of stain on both sides, and we let the door dry overnight. Back in the greenhouse, Angela and I began installing the door hardware. I bought a sliding closet door kit from the hardware store for this project. Those barn door hardware kits are crazy expensive and, in my opinion, unnecessary for this kind of project. We attached a 2x2 board inside to act as the mounting point for the door rail. Since we're using this closet door kit as a barn door, we had to buy 2 48-inch wide kits because our door itself is 48 inches wide. At $12 each, they were still a great deal though, and this also gave me plenty of wheels to add for holding the door securely. These wheels have white adjuster knobs to get the door perfectly level, which is also a cool feature. It was a little tricky getting all the 4 wheels into the track at once. I was having a hard time, but Angela quickly just came over and got it figured out for me. With the door in place, I added some trim boards to help close up the gaps, and this will also be important come wintertime to cut down on the drafts and cold weather coming in. Just push my belly with the handle. Don't, hold it against your... Looking around our trash pile that's at the greenhouse, and hang on guys, disclaimer, yes, we see the junk. We don't like it. We're still building this greenhouse though, and have gone into that trash pile a few times and pulled out bits and pieces here and there to help us finish things. So it's kind of been a money saver. But don't worry, it's going to disappear, I promise. Very soon too. Anywho, using 2 sections of PVC pipe and some rebar, I came up with some non-marring door guides. The PVC will spin freely with the door, while the rebar keeps everything in place and holds it tight. These also work great with keeping the door from moving with the wind blowing or other elements, and turned out great. Back down in the workshop, I put together the frame for the window that goes above the greenhouse door. I took a regular 2x4 wall stud and ripped it in half to give me some 2x2 material to work with. This window frame was easy to make with some simple cuts and some 3-inch metal corner braces. This is a pretty low stress unit, so I'm not really worried about it falling apart on me from frequent use. Back at the greenhouse, I used more of the acrylic siding stain on the window frame and got it looking pretty as well. While the stain bucket was open and the brushes were in use, I painted the rest of the new boards to match and help protect the wood from the elements too. I stapled a scrap piece of greenhouse plastic to the window frame and installed it in place. With the window in place, I trimmed off the excess plastic, still leaving enough overlap, especially on the bottom, to keep the wind and rain out whenever it's closed. Here I am finishing painting the window frame. I really wish I had painted the whole frame before putting the plastic on and installing, but oh well. I was in a hurry to make progress, I guess, and paid for it in the end. For the gable ends of the greenhouse, I decided to just close them off completely for the time being. I can always add vents in if I want to, and probably will, but for now, they're just closed up. On the back of the greenhouse, I had to get creative on how to handle all the pipes passing through the wall. These are all the overflow pipes from my rainwater collection system that I put in the greenhouse. I decided to take a 2x4 and make cutouts for each of the pipes and attach it to the bottom. This actually worked out really good because it gives me a solid place to attach the plastic and also seals up the area quite well. So I picked up some cheap screen door pulls from the hardware store. I got black ones because I kind of like the contrast between black and white. It looks pretty good, and they are cheap, so hey, win, win, win. Looks good, cheap, and it works, the right thing, so. We can't have the door all the way open, which this is the fully open position here, because this handle's too big to fit. So what we have done is we've gone back and forth and we found the best middle ground between the two. We can't put the handle all the way flush with this end because then the door won't latch and overlap and do smart, good stuff down there. I'm really butchering this. I'm trying to say it, but whatever. It's taken 5 times. So we're going to put this in the middle ground and it's just going to be good enough, I guess. Let's see, go on down here where the drill is. There we go. Now we can come out of the greenhouse and we can close the door. A little bit of clearance, you know, it's not perfect, but gets the door closed, latched properly, and allows you to still open it all the way over as well, and we can still fit the wheelbarrow through here. What I have here above the door is a little window that I made, and it kind of pivots out. You guys have seen that a little bit on the video, and I'll show it to you more here in a second. This is part of my ventilation system for the greenhouse, and to make this more automated, I purchased a solar, or it's not really solar powered, it's more temperature powered automatic greenhouse vent. It's basically a bracket that's spring loaded that will push open a door or window. And how this works is you got a black tube here that's going to collect the heat, and it's full of wax, and as the wax gets hot it expands, pushes the cylinder, and opens the bracket. As it cools, it contracts and closes it back up. Very cool little bracket. This is actually made in Denmark and was one of the best reviewed and rated ones that I found on Amazon. So of course I'll put a link for this down below. A lot of people like it. That's my first time using it, so I can't really tell you yet if it's awesome and great, but I got it. It's what I spent my money on, so I guess it's what I would say to get to at this point. I want to go ahead and install this bracket first, but not put the wax, I guess, plunger. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm not going to put that in yet. So I'm going to go ahead and install this here on the actual frame of the door, and then I got to put a spacer block on the window, and it'll allow it to push and move. I think it'll make a lot more sense as I just do this, so let me do that and just quit talking. Bracket is good. It opens and closes, doesn't get caught or rub on the frame. Now I'm going to install this. You just fish it through this collet or ring, I guess, or collar. I don't know what it's called. And there's a little cotter pin that I've got to fish through here as well. It's going to be fun. I guess I'll just do it by feel. Here we go. And then I'll go ahead and open the bracket and then thread this wax tube into the collar. And there you go. After a few days, I decided to convert the right side plastic on the front of the greenhouse to not open or close. This corner of the greenhouse is going to be more of a storage or work area, and I want it to stay dry. I also have plans to build something here on the outside of the greenhouse that will really benefit and work best with that wall being solid as well. So this door is, again, a very simple roll up and down type fashion as far as opening, just like the other couple of walls here in the greenhouse are. Since I'll only close this in the cold weather, and right now with it being early July, we don't really have any cold weather in sight, I'm going to zip tie, yep, zip ties. I'm gonna zip tie this to the top and around the top board of the door, and that'll hold it in place, keep it out of the way, and keep it from blowing around and getting messed up. Come winter time, I will unroll this, and then I will probably come in on the left and right side, maybe the middle, probably not though, and I'll put furring strips left and right to really pin this plastic down, close it up, and keep any air gusts from coming through. That will damage the plastic a little bit, but this is a woven plastic. It is extremely durable and tough, and I'm not really concerned with that. Plus, I have a lot left over. I probably have at least 100 square foot of plastic left over, so I'm okay if this ends up being somewhat of a consumable, although I really don't foresee it becoming a real problem or burden until after many, many years. Alright, so let's go ahead and zip tie this in place. All zip tied up in place, this baby ain't going nowhere. I ended up going between the plastic and the wood frame on the inside, right here where my finger is, because there's not enough clearance to wrap around the whole top of the door frame because of how I did my outside trim piece and the track. It's pretty tight, not even enough room for a zip tie to go through, so that's good. It just meant I had to pretty much zip tie the plastic to itself, but no problems at all. This is not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to mess with it. I mean, sheesh, it's barely reachable by me, as you can see. Not exactly. I mean, there's a little bit more room, but the door is now done. Back here on the back wall of the greenhouse, I decided to make it solid. No ventilation, no roll-up features, nothing of the sort. I hope I don't regret this. I have some temperature monitor systems put in place. I've been testing out. If they're good, which they look like they're good so far, I'll make a video, show you guys all that and everything. But what the temperatures are doing is, I've got one in the greenhouse, and I've got one outside. And I'm watching the humidity and temperature fluctuations throughout the days to make sure I'm not frying and cooking stuff in here. This isn't a cookery, this isn't a bakery, this is a greenhouse. So, for now, the back wall is solid. If I want to add a window for ventilation, which honestly, I'm probably going to, it will be easy enough to just put a frame here on the inside, attach some hinges, cut the piece of plastic out, and put another one of those temperature actuated window vent automatic magical device things from the future. Like I said, I've got some monitor going on and I'm watching everything inside the greenhouse very closely. So far, I have not noticed a severe spike or honestly any real spike in temperatures since closing in the back wall. And I think that's because of the natural wind flow we get up here on the hill and the fact that the long wall is open and the whole front of the greenhouse is open as well. Well guys, as always, we really appreciate you watching and sticking around until the end. If we didn't cover anything or you have any questions about what we did in the video that we didn't really answer very well, leave us a comment down below. We love reading them and helping and responding as best we can. It is our goal to educate, to inspire, or otherwise just share with you guys what we do here on our homestead. As always, we appreciate you watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time on the homestead. Is that rain starting? See if we can't help it out a little bit. Drop some beats. Hope you enjoyed it. I felt dumb. If you are still here, you are the type viewer we truly, truly appreciate. You are here until the very end. As a thank you, I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek on something that will be shown in the next video. And that is something that's completely frivolous. Totally frivolous. Angela and I were in a little craft store in the nearest city about a week or so ago. And they had a clearance section of a lot of like decorative stuff, farmhouse decorations, whatever. You know, you've been to stores like this and they have these cool little things. Well, there was a metal sign in the store there that I really, really liked. As soon as I saw it, and then calculated in my head how much the clearance discount really would have been to say, okay, I'll spend the money for it, I knew that I wanted to get it for the greenhouse. Again, this is totally frivolous. It's not required, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a dude building a Pinterest greenhouse for myself up here on the hill, using the excuse that it's for my wife, but whatever. I like nice things too. So, check out the sign that I got. Isn't that cool? It is a metal sign, so it's not going to fall apart on us. And I'm either going to mount, a little country coming out. It's a metal sign, so we don't have to worry about it falling apart on us or rotting or just, you know, not being able to survive. Now, I don't know if I'm going to put it above the door or if I'm going to put it here on the rain barrels. I tell you what, you're here, you're an awesome viewer. Let me just show you real quick. Alright, so there's idea number one. This one we kind of like because when you're in the greenhouse, you can see it. It's kind of in here with us as we're working and stuff. So, I don't know. Looks pretty good. Let me show you idea number two, though. Idea number two takes place out here. And it's actually to put it right above the doorway. So take a look and tell me what you think. What do you think, guys? It looks pretty cool up there because it's kind of like, you know, a sign at a little store. Like this is a little greenhouse store or shop on top of the hill. So that's got a cool factor, but we won't ever really get to see that unless we're outside the greenhouse. So, I don't know. Tell you what, leave us a note down below. Which one do you like? Barrels or door? Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. It is very nice to now know that this greenhouse is done. It is usable. There's no more major construction that has to be done for it to be operational. That being said, there are still a few projects we're going to do out here. They are not just, you know, building the greenhouse only projects, but they are things that are going to be great for usability and a couple extra things we just want to add. Because you've stuck around to the end of this video, I will give you a sneak peek of the final product, whereas everyone else who may have already left are going to have to wait for the next video, which is the complete montage, if you will, start to finish. One video, entire greenhouse build. So thank you so much for joining us and sticking with us here on this greenhouse video. And as a thank you, here's the bonus footage. To give you guys the special, only for awesome viewers only, greenhouse tour, I'm going to let Elijah do it. He wants to kind of give you guys a tour around. So, without further ado, Elijah, take us on a little tour of the greenhouse.
Okay. So this is a nice door and a window. And I'll show you inside. This is the inside.
Hang on. You got to talk real loud.
Okay. This is the inside. And there's the tomatoes right there. And those two barrels right there is my carrot beds. And more tomatoes, all strawberries. And right there is just rain barrels.
What about your tomato plants? Show us those.
Okay. These are my tomato plants. And newest is this little one way far in the back. That's the newest of mine. 3 tomato plants.
Cool. Alright, take us around and let's see the outside of the greenhouse. Show us how that door works from in here.
So there's 2 handles, one on the outside and one on the inside. Ah! this side right here can actually roll up and down. So can the door area. So this is the back of a greenhouse.
Put her on this side. Here, come over here in the shade.
Okay. This is the back of a greenhouse. So there's gutters up there which collects water. There's pipes goes to a barrels, and a barrels fills up with water, and then you can actually have your own water in a greenhouse.
What are little pipes coming out of the wall?
I think that's to get rid of the extra water.
Yep, you got it. What's around back there where Isaac is?
It's the other side. So this is, I believe, a left side. So water comes from a gutters up down into here, which goes in here, falls into a barrels.
All right, guys. Anything else you want to share about the greenhouse?
A greenhouse is very cool, and I don't quite know what it looks like totally yet.
What are you talking about? The greenhouse. That's it. This is it.
But I don't know what it looks like with the sides down.
Oh, it's going to look very similar to this side.
Oh.
But that'll be whenever it's cold.
Mm.
All right, let's walk back to the front.
One can close the door.
Thank you.
See what should we do?
All right, guys, come over this way. No, stand right here. Whoever wants to say, all right, thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Hang on. Ready?
Ready.
Go for it.
Thank you. Watch for. See you next time. Bye. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you next time. Bye.